Guess
with
what?
us.
My Zoom is finally working too. So I can see everything. I couldn't see anything there for a bit. So I apologize. Like I said, I got back late last night from an amazing event. It was called the International Success Breakthrough Summit. That was in Scottsdale, Arizona. And I was working with some amazing team, of course, and all my coaches and some amazing speakers from all over the world. I got to work with Keenan and Alessia Mankas. Of course, they're my coaches and mentors. Sharon Lecter, Robin Banks, Kevin Harrington, Les Brown, Paulo Mahoney, Richard Harrington, James McNeil, John Lee, Brian Walsh, and of course, Saj. So, I mean, and the list goes on. And it was so nice just being amongst so many friends. And it's a team effort. And what is cool about it is it's basically what our topic's about, right, Lori?
Yeah, so I can't wait. I mean, your experience, Tammy, it sounds unbelievable. It sounds amazing. You know that as soon as I saw that announced, like, hey, we're looking for people to help us out. And then in turn, you're going to learn how to run an event and be around these magical people. And I always say, like, proximity is everything. And when we surround ourselves with people and leaders, the people that are already there that are successful and have what we are pursuing, it's an amazing experience. So I wasn't able to go because I had a previous commitment that I had made to go and chaperone a youth group with my 2 children and my husband. And that was a beautiful experience too. And yes, their leadership was involved in it. But needless to say that, Tammy, your experience sounds amazing and I want to hear all about it. And yes, we're going to talk about how leaders serve.
Exactly. If we don't serve, we're not going to learn. I mean, to me, especially whenever I've led, I don't want to do anything that, what would you say? I want to make sure I'm correct on everything. So I do more research, I do more things to make sure it's exactly what our clients or our youth need.
Right. And I'm sure that's the people that Ken and Alessia were looking for. And as soon as you said of course, they went ahead and jumped at the opportunity to have you there, monitor and lead. And what was your role then, Tammy? What was your role?
My role was to work with the speakers. So which was amazing. And I loved it. I mean, we all did stuff. We worked as a team. And that's what true leadership is getting rid of your selfishness, but you're working as a team to better help all the speakers, all the other organizers, and to help everyone that shows up. You want to be kind and do things, because when we are kind and do things, people will go out of their way to do things for us. It's, whether it's being kind at the airport, because, like security, I was talking with them, and next thing I know, I'm pushed to the front of the line because she's like, you're the only one who's been nice today. Or when I was on boarding, I got pushed to first class yesterday just because I took the time to talk and be kind. Not saying it's going to work every time, but sometimes people are having such a bad day. We need to step out and encourage them in some way,
and be kind and serve. And then if you do it, and when you do it without expectation, without
exactly, don't ever expect anything in return.
Yeah. And so there's a time to serve, and there's a time out of our own kindness. And also as leaders and business owners, there's a time to serve as an exchange of energy, which is currency, right? Because when we give of our time, that's currency. And also, well, as a life coach, I get a exchange of energy, with money and finances, right? So you give me this much of money, which we need to learn to do unapologetically. Yes. There's a time also to do things because of the kindness of our heart. So there was a trade also with this offer that Tammy jumped in and I wanted to jump in for, which is like, hey, help us run this event, and you're going to learn how to run a live event and have proximity with all these amazing people. So I love how Tammy came back now with so much a bigger, a broader picture of how to run an event, and with great feedback for the leaders that were organizing the event. And it reminds me of a book that I read many years ago. I think I gave it away or let somebody borrow it, and I just realized I miss it and I want to buy it again. And it's called The Servant: A Simple Story About the True Essence of Leadership. And what happens in this book is this monk, someone, a retired army person, goes to a retreat, and this monk is going to teach this person, John, his name is John, leadership skills and how leaders serve. And to John's surprise, this character, the monk leading the seminar or the retreat, is a former business executive and Wall Street legend. And taking John under his wing, the monk guides him to a realization that is simple yet profound. The true foundation of leadership is not power, but authority, which is built upon relationships, love, service, and sacrifice. And this is why Tammy's tired. She sacrificed her weekend to serve.
Well, and the thing is I've done lots of events, and almost every single person on the team, we've all done events, but we went there for networking, and I wanted to meet the rest of my team because it's been live, Zoom. So Zoom's not the same as being able to give a hug and in person. And when you're in person, you learn, I don't know, I learn so much more when I'm in person. And it, like you said, it gives you that different energy. When you can actually sit there and have lunch or talk to somebody, you see where you're directly in their eyes. I mean, it's just a different experience because it gives us that energy we need. So whenever you have a chance, you need to step out of your comfort zone and help. It doesn't matter how much serving is always good, because whenever you can help somebody else or be an example for somebody else, you need to step out there and do it. I mean, especially for our youth today, we need to be doing these kind of things to help them to see that there is more to life than just a 9-to-5 job.
Right. And that's the big difference, the contrast between your opportunity over the weekend and then mine. Mine was being the ma or pa, like the substitute mothers and fathers, of this youth, a group of youth. We had 11. Some other moms and pa's had 15 and 16. Ours was very special. And that's why we needed less numbers, because they had an interesting need. These kids had interesting personalities where they needed our attention and our love, my husband and I. And leading and serving, right? It's not about power and just we're ma and pa and you're gonna do what we want because you must or else. No, it's so amazing how also leaders learn from those you are serving. And we learn so much from our youth. I mean, there were sometimes where the kids didn't do what we asked them to do, and then they got together and formed this jury, right? Telling us what consequences can this other youth, that because they thought we got here on time and they didn't, they need a consequence. And I'm like, you guys decide. And it was so fun to see how the youth and their peers thought of consequences for each other. I want to give a shout out for Patricia McLean Osborne, Christy Garland, and Carrie Suvari. You're watching.
Welcome.
Thanks for being here. Welcome. Do you want to type where is it that you're watching from? And also how you as a business owner, entrepreneur, parent have benefit from serving as you lead. Let us know in the comments. You're welcome to share and give us your insights when have you had opportunities to do that.
Exactly. And Laura, you've served as long as I have. I've volunteered and worked with youth for over 38 years.
Wow.
And it's a blessing. Sometimes, there's some hard times, and like you said, you have to listen. Listening is our key thing for serving. If we don't listen, we're not going to know what's wrong or what is going well, or where we can help. And like you said, we learn so much when we do serve and sometimes it's just those little things that people don't even realize that are important to somebody else.
Right. And when we admit that we don't know everything or that we can learn from others, it's very humbling. And it's
like Robin Banks, he was one of our speakers, and he's a great motivational speaker on positive thinking, and so he had me we actually had some younger kids at this event, and he had me talk with one of the young girls
Oh my goodness.
who is absolutely amazing. She's a gymnast trying to become an Olympian, but she has all this doubt in her mind,
Mm.
and she wasn't thinking she's good enough and stuff, but she's a beautiful girl. And she just needed someone to encourage her and to listen and to realize she's not alone. We all go through doubt all the time because none of us are perfect. And we all need that positive person in our life to say, hey, it's okay. Yeah, you might not be feeling great today, or you didn't do as good a job as you thought you were going to do, but it's okay. There's always tomorrow.
Wow. Were you able to speak to her?
Yes,
And
I spoke with her one-on-one. I gave her my book,
oh,
and
nice.
of course invited to listen here, or follow on social media sites. And when we are out there on social media sites, and I see this all the time, and this main reason I'm saying this, we need to make sure we're positive. We're encouraging people, we're inspiring, and it doesn't matter what site, everybody has their preferences. That's why I'm on everything, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, of course, LinkedIn. It all depends on the person, the age, what their personality, and who their audience is. But make sure that you don't have negative stuff on there, but rather encouraging, inspiring stuff, positive stuff that helps it helps others. It's not always about you.
That's right. That's right. I love it. So Tammy, this has been great. I know you are tired and you flew in last night, and this is amazing. So guys, let us know how you can lead and be a servant leader. I'm going to read this again. The true foundation of leadership is not power, but authority, which is built upon relationships, love, service, and sacrifice. I know that many parents that know that we went and we're in charge of their children have been so grateful that we were there, that we took our week off and paused the rest of our lives to be there with their children, building up a spiritual experience, building up a wonderful social experience for them. Many of those kids love the fact that they didn't know many of the other youth, and now they're best buddies forever, right? So I love, and then also a leader follows well. There's sometimes to lead, and there's sometimes that a leader also needs to follow. We were under the umbrella of another leadership. While we were leaders of this youth, we were under the umbrella of the organizers and the ones that went through lots of time organizing this event, so it will be great. And it was so wonderful to see their leadership, and also how we had a meeting every night after we set the kids down, hey, go to bed, all that. The adult leaders got together to assess the situation, to know how we could course correct for the next day, etc. So that's another important part about leading. You need to assess, you need to check in all the time. And even with my youth, we would say, hey, we have only this week to make this right. Tell us how we can improve and how can we be better? How can we be better mas and pas for you this week? And it was a beautiful experience. So some youth were courageous enough to say, hey, how about if we do this way instead? We're like, great, thank you. So leaders also receive feedback. So we as leaders can course correct and lead even better with the feedback of the people we're serving under or to.
Well, and exactly. And you know what? And I know the ladies that you have on here today, they are amazing ladies that actually help others. And they may not even think about us serving, but they do so much have so much kindness in their hearts.
I see a gentleman. I see Eric Alipala, my good friend. He was there at the event. Eric, if you want to share pictures in the comments.
And hi, Eric, if I missed you,
yes.
I apologize.
Yes, so Eric is a great servant leader too. I love what he does, helping others feel better. Eric, you can explain better what is it that you do, but we are also excited to have you speak. I told him, Tammy, that I wanted to share the Calendly link, and anyone else watching, Patricia, Christy, Carrie, we would love to contact us if you want to be a speaker and a guest in this Tuesday Talks. So Eric, I know we have already talked about that last weekend too, and he feels so much better. He's as a business owner, entrepreneur, CEO of his own company. So it is so important for us to continue our education as leaders and business owners. And this weekend seemed to have been transformational for many. And I know Eric was there.
And we have a speaker next week too. So we actually have some lineup coming up, and the more we like and the more we share, the more speakers we are able to get here too. And we're not just talking any speakers. I mean, we've had some amazing speakers, that work with some of the world's best. And actually, I'm going to be bringing in some of the world's best speakers.
Tammy, you don't want to mention, you don't want to tease? You don't want to tease yet?
No.
No, but I guarantee you guys, because of this proximity opportunity she had over the weekend, some of those are going to be here. That's all I'm gonna say. Sorry, Tammy. I just want to.
I mean, and some of these people they have millions in followers. So it's amazing. So if all the timing works out, they're going to be here. So
wonderful. And Eric's saying, sorry, he missed you, Tammy. I should have connected you on Messenger or something.
Well, I'm sorry. I was backstage most of the time with speakers or working with them, getting what they needed. So I apologize. Sorry, but I'm so happy you were there because it was an amazing event.
Yes. Well, with that, we want you guys to think about how you can be a servant leader or a leader that serves with love, sacrifice, and just builds upon relationships. And so you can reap the effects and the benefits of what it is to be a servant leader. One last thing I want to share, I was speaking in a networking experience in this restaurant, right? Networking happens sometimes in restaurants during lunchtime and things like that. So I was a guest speaker in this event, and food was coming. People were ordering food, and I'm like, oh my goodness. Okay, so I'm speaking and trying for people to listen to me while they're like getting their food order, etc. Right? So where I was standing, the waiter came with the tray, and it was being very difficult for the waiter because of where I was standing and the setup of the plates and the tables. And I went ahead and something fell. I don't know if it was a spoon or a fork, and I stopped what I was saying and I grabbed it. So that is very instinct, like it's my instinct, like, hey, I need to help somebody, something fell.
You need to be yourself.
Right. And at the end, I don't think people pay attention to my keynote or what I was talking about. They were like, you are so awesome helping that waiter and all that. And I'm like, oh my goodness. So it is so interesting that you lead by example. So it doesn't matter what I was talking about that day. The lecture per se was not it. The lecture or the teaching moment was my action. So people are observing. People are observing and taking mental notes. And if you're a leader or want to be an influencer or a leader in your industry, in your field, they're going to be looking at you. They're going to be watching close. And you better set a good example is my recommendation. So, Eric says, always be learning. Leaders have mentors too. That's so
exactly.
True. Well, thank you so much for being here, for joining us.
Yes, thank you. And we'll see you next week. And I will be posting who our speaker is here in the next few days. So, and I will be sharing some photos of this event, but I was taking photos for a lot of different people. So it's going to take some time to go through them all.
I'm excited for you to share your own pictures with those influencers and leaders in this industry. That's amazing.
So I hope everybody has a great week and go out there and do something for somebody else.
And share with us. Share this.
Exactly. Have a great week. Bye.
Bye-bye.